Join us as we uncover the symbols, the stories, explore the mysteries, the power, and the legacy of a kingdom that is still unfolding. This is a journey where history, prophecy, power, and people converge, and the story is still being written, from ancient kingdoms to the spaces where modern voices meet. Voices that refuse to be silenced, part of a heritage that continues to shape the present. The past is not dead, it lives, it speaks. And here, we listen, we reason, we respond, and we testify. We dive into ancient truths, symbols, and signs still relevant today. The scepter has not departed, the mystery is not lost, and the kingdom, it is still unfolding, one episode at a time. This is more than a podcast, it's a return to the source. Welcome to the Scepter of Zion, where ancient truths meet modern voices. And now, to conversations, truth, and power, the scroll begins to open. And here to guide us through the gates, your trusted voice and seasoned guide, a voice for the remnant, your host, Ruben B.
Hey, we return to our regular scheduled journey through civilizations, through culture, and of course the ancient future. So, when you start to lose your grip, the world doesn't fall, you do. The air gets thin, the mind gets loud. And suddenly every thought weighs more than the strength you have left in your body, in your soul. But then in that moment, you learn something ancient. Sometimes letting go is the only way to find out what was never meant to hold you. So when a person begins to lose their grip emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, so it'll come in phases. Yeah, you get these little clues. Nothing feels stable, so you start to second guess yourself, and this is disorientation. The mind begins to spiral, replaying fear and possibilities. Yeah, you're just overthinking. You're overthinking. You stop talking because you think no one would get it, so you kind of isolate yourself. Holding yourself together becomes a job, so you get exhausted. So, you can pretend that nobody get this, and so your mask starts to crack. There's this breaking point within you. But this loss of grip is also a doorway for you to reset yourself. To reset everything, your mind, your energy, your spirit, your soul. But reaching out becomes the first real return to stability. So when you start to lose your grip, you sort of kind of lose your balance and you kind of tilt a little bit. The world shakes like a unsteady scroll. But you know what? But hidden in that fall is a deeper law. It's a deeper meaning. So no soul descends without a purpose. There's a reason why. There is a reason. So when your grip is weakened, the Holy One is not watching you fall. Just stretching that ground beneath you, so when you land in a wider realm than the one that you were clinging to, you can feel that ground shift beneath a truth that you thought was solid. But the mystics, you know what they call this? They call this the cracking of a vessel. So you know what? This is the very, very moment when a old container, your body, your soul, It can no longer hold the soul that is expanding within you. Isn't that amazing? So you can feel that tension, that shaking, that unraveling. Not because you're collapsing, but because something in you is outgrowing this shell. When I was about 11 years old, let me tell you a little story. And this is not a knock on church people. People go to church. That's your thing. To make you happy, that's what you believe, then do it. By the time I hit the age of 11, I was like, something ain't right here. There's something deeper than what this preacher is saying. He's just basically just bumping his gums. I outgrew that shell by the age of 11. I knew that there was something much, much more and deeper. So outgrowing the shell, there's a new awareness that is basically pushing through. The old identity is shedding. The soul is insisting on expansion. I need to study. I need to research. I need to grow mentally, spiritually, so I can become a better person to myself, my family, my community, and the world. In that moment, right? You're not falling, you're just being reshaped. With that being said, welcome to Granada. This great jewel of civilization that fused science, poetry, mysticism, that the world doesn't fully understand or appreciate the beauty. Granada, it wasn't just a city, it was a living manuscript written in sandstones, water, geometry, prayer. A place where the streets curve like verses. Not vessels, but verses. It's where the knowledge flowed like a river. And where every palace whispered secrets. Even the conquerors, they couldn't decode this. That's amazing. They're like, what is this? They're looking at this and can't understand this. That's deep right there. So in Granada, beauty wasn't decoration. It was sort of like a form of government, right? Its leaders ruled with the architects, the laws of philosophy, the laws of mathematics, and the laws of mercy. So it was a city built in harmony, right? It was built in harmony. It produced a place where people could live in harmony, right? That's what you want now. You want to live in harmony with your neighbor. You don't want to be at odds because friction and cause this and that. So Granada held the code of civilizations, astronomy, hidden in tile work, mathematical ratio carved into its archways, spiritual metaphor woven into every line of Arabic calligraphy that danced across the Alhambra walls. They governed through wisdom. They preserved its knowledge. Why? Of course, other places just want to burn down books, burn down temples, burn down libraries. Right? That's what they want. They just want to destroy all the good stuff. Or either they want to take the good stuff, hide it, package it another way, so they can rule over you. So they can have their secret order or their secret fraternity. So Granada kept this science alive so that one day, somebody would come back and open this up. Right? They dragged the Western world out of darkness. Granada was the final sanctuary of people who believe that beauty is a proof of divine and that a well-ordered city is a reflection of a well-ordered soul. They had this knowledge that shined the brightest. Granada was a city of brilliance, a city of secret, a city that even in exile, it never fully died. It scattered its wisdom into the future. Into the future. Scepter of Zion. Granada, glowing at the edge of history. Here, beauty wasn't just merely seen, it was decoded. It was decoded in its written language, right? In its palaces, in the Hebrew Psalms. So Granada lived between worlds, part earth, part heaven, part memory, part prophecy. A city where mystics walked the courtyards reading geometry, the way that the scribes read the Torah. So the scribes, they were unique in their position, right, to glean this knowledge. They were exposed to this philosophy and spirituality, art, all kind of ideas that created a educated and a conscious mind. Granada, right? A fuse of intellect, laws, poetry, mathematics, and meaning. A kingdom that was ruled by ideas, a city that was aligned with the divine order. Right? And like I said, they kept these secrets that the conquerors can understand or understood. Their fountains were celestial. Their tiles echo the patterns of creation. The gardens mirrored Eden, not the Eden of the past, but the Eden of ancient future. Now, see, I can go into the Garden of Eden and explain the metaphors and the allegories to it, but that's another time because it's really deep. It ain't like this Garden of Eden that, they try to teach you at the Baptist church. It ain't like that. Not even close. Not even in the same ballpark. The wisdom there, it didn't die. It folded itself into time, waiting for a generation bold enough, hungry enough, spiritual enough to open these scrolls up again. Granada wasn't never lost. It simply went into exile like a wandering prophet, carrying his lights across centuries until the world became wise enough to understand what it tried to teach. Hey, welcome to the Scepter of Zion, where modern voices meet ancient wisdom. I am your host. I am Ruben B. I'll be right back after this short message. Well, welcome back. Welcome to Granada. Let's talk about Granada for a minute, right? The final torch. The finishing touch of an entire civilization. Wow, let me get my mouth together. Civilization. It was the last great light of Al-Andalus. Not to end the story, but the last flame of the menorah before the exile of 1492. This is where African geniuses, Hebrew Israelite sacred designs, Arabic spiritual philosophy reached their highest form. This is where the wisdom of age stood tall one last time. Before Europe forgot its teacher. And before other parts of the world forgot who his teacher is. So let's step inside the palace that was a school, a textbook, a city that was a university without walls. This is Granada. And Granada, it rose in two waves. The first wave, 11th century, 1013 through 1031 CE. The Zoroastrian dynasty. This was after the collapse of Cordoba. Right? The Nazarite, or the Nesrit period, the Golden Age, from 1238 to 1492. Granada became this last beacon of the Moorish, right, Judean Israelites and African intellectual culture. Wow. It's really, this stuff just got to come to an end because of jealousy. Right? You teaching the world how to thrive, to succeed. You want to tear that down, huh? You want to steal this for yourself. Okay. But Granada wasn't built around our hammer. It was built under it, within it, and formed by it. The Alhambra is not a palace. It's a mathematical sanctuary. We're all merged into one seamless spiritual language. Every wall is a lesson. All the arches are mathematical prayers. The students learn geometry, which basically equals divine order. Do everything decent and in order, right? That's what the scripture said. Light, this unfolding truth, this high truth, this spiritual truth. Symmetry equals spiritual balance. Proportion evidence of Yahweh's perfection. This is the same worldwide view preserved in Solomon's temple. Wow. In Ezekiel's visionary blueprint. Granada kept alive a scientific spiritual tradition that Europe did not understand and still struggles to comprehend to this very second. Right? They can't comprehend some of this stuff. And Granada was our artistic crown. Here, beauty wasn't a decoration. It was a revelation. The schools and palaces trained students. Yes, they did. In music and poetry. illumination, manuscripts, ornaments, arts, everything. So, but the walls of our hammer holds over 10,000 poetic inscriptions, verses about unity, divine light, wisdom, the nature of beauty. Huh? The Hebrew Israelites, poets, and mystics taught that beauty reveals the nature of God, Yuhei-Wafe. Granada shaped Europe's sense of geometry, color, and design long before the Renaissance claimed it. You know, like, yeah, we did this. No, you did not. Stop it. Stop lying. You know what? Come on, it's okay. Give credit where credit is due, and it's all right. It's all there for all of us to benefit from, to be inspired from, to grow from. Yes, it was. Let's go with Sufi. Let's start right there. Do you know what Sufi philosophy is? You do? Oh, what is it? You said what? You're right, it is the knowledge of the inner world. You're right. Granada was the sanctuary of the inner science. Here, they studied psychology of the soul, metaphysics, ethics, intuition, symbolic interpretation, unity of being, the meaning of numbers, letters, shapes. Let me see. Anybody teaching that right now? I don't think so. And you know what? All right. You know what else? They taught harmonized wisdom. Perfect harmonized wisdom. Sacred symbolism. The tree of life. The Hebrew letters in this mysticism. Geometry. Sacred geometry. I don't think nobody's teaching that right. Let me think. No. That college, no, they're not teaching that. No, they ain't teaching it either. Can't think of any college or any university on this planet that is teaching some of the stuff that I just mentioned. Granada taught Europe something it never had before: how to harmonize reason with revelation, intellect with spirit, the outer world with the inner world. This was the center of medieval metaphysics. Not in Paris, not in Oxford, not in Rome, of course not here in America, but in Granada. Granada perfected modern medicine. Right? It's something that now the world is just rediscovering this. But see, it used something that now modern medicine is starting to use: sound therapy. Sound therapy. So scholars here studied frequency. So I don't know if you know or not, like you can go to these YouTube channels and they have like different frequencies, like use this to heal your headache, your backache. Use this to get a better night's sleep. Use this to clear your mind. We have been doing this for centuries. Frequency, emotional effects of rhythm, healing through melody. the sound and heart connection, the musical notes, the mathematical stuff, to help with sound therapy. This African rhythm, these Hebrew or Judean chants, Arabic melodic cycles. It's the science of healing through vibration. Granada taught this. Sound is a healer. Vibration is medicine. And I'm hearing this a lot on like advertisements. Sound therapy, sound technology. Yeah. Europe never credited, right? Never gave the credit back to who created this and put it forth for the whole world to learn, to heal from. There was no ego involved. It's just for the betterment of the entire planet. So yeah, Europe, American, all the countries, all over the world, they learned from this. Grenada, the preserver of the flame. Grenada, so it produced knowledge. It protected the entire legacy of Al-Andalus when Cordova fell, Toledo fell. It preserved African irrigation system, medical texts, scholarships, translators, music, maps, charts, geometry, temple knowledge, carried from Africa, astronomy as well. But check this out. So after 1492, its scholars were scattered. You want to know where they were scattered to? Morocco, Egypt, Ottoman Turkey, Italy, France, and eventually here to the Americas, or America. Carrying with them manuscripts of math, medicine, science, and memories. Remember I told you they were walking encyclopedias. Granada was the final torchbearer. Granada is still one of the most intact Moorish cities in existence. Yeah, you can go there, go to Spain. I'm going there to visit eventually. So, you know, these stones, they still speak. The Alhambra, every wall, geometry. Every inscription, theology. Every mosaic, mathematics. Every dome, astronomy. Still right now, they have African irrigation, sacred garden architects that are right now. Yeah. They still have some original Moorish homes there. Aqueducts, streets, plans from back then. Even the University Center of Granada is still partly preserved. It's still there. Check this out now. You're going to like this. To see how African hydraulic technology is still functioning. There's inscriptions there that still praise divine unity, wisdom, and light. This is a living museum of African, Judean Israelites, Arabic civilizations no European city can imagine. No, none. So, Cordova taught Europe how to think, Toledo taught Europe how to translate. Seville taught Europe how to build and calculate. Granada taught them how to see spiritually, mathematically, artistically. Grenada, they united this Israelite sacred designs, African engineers, this Arabic metaphysic into one radiant science of civilization. It was the finishing touch, the last great light before the fall of 1492. Stay buckled in, right? Stay rooted and resilient. We're coming to the end of this show. We'll see you next week with some of that good old stuff from the modern voice from ancient future, teaching you some knowledge, some wisdom that you never thought existed. Stuff that they tried to bury. The Scepter of Zion is bringing it right to you. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. Who else? Just follow us. Just love us. Just like it. Just follow us. Tell a friend. So his friend can tell a friend. So friends can tell a friend. But until next week, shalom, family.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of The Scepter of Zion. If something stirred your spirit, sparked a memory, or whispered truth into your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, speak it, walk in it. We invite you to invite others into the conversation, into the unfolding. This is more than a podcast. It's a movement returning to the root and rising with the call. Until next time, hold the line, guard the flame, and never forget who you are, because the kingdom isn't coming. It's already here and rising, one voice at a time.
You've been listening to The Scepter of Zion, a Kingdom of Shalom production. Subscribe, share, and join us as Zion rises again.